Hey everybody, what is going on? Sorry about that. Hopefully some of you are still here. Apologies for the sign off there, but should still be back. I think before I was talking about going into Cardano before the internet just rudely shut off on me. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I was looking at Cardano as kind of one that was battling previous support and resistance line. I thought about 25,000 Satoshis, kind of this. I'll pull it up on the daily so you can actually see it a little bit better. But this line, I don't have the line drawn, but right here, the 25,000 Satoshi mark in the past was a little bit of support that pretty quickly fell down and then has served as resistance in the past. This is the first time since early March that it has broken through that. So decided to jump into that portion and hop into it. So 2,500, not 25,000 if I said that. No, I'm still not flying on a United plane, although that was the $39 internet yesterday was pretty brutal. I was trying to essentially load anything on my phone and I couldn't do anything. Couldn't load it. Whatever. So taking a look at some of these questions here when you guys actually come back. What's up, Josh? $39 Cardano. I don't know about that one. I'd love that, but I'm gonna highly doubt that. Bitcoin private. Let's talk about it. So I haven't pull up CoinMarketCap. Whereas Bitcoin private, it was what? Damn, Bitcoin. That's so ridiculous. Oh man, that is so nuts. That really did it. Moon that hard. It's pretty incredible. So Bitcoin private mooned. They updated everything on CoinMarketCap. It has no volume, but it basically mooned the second it got added to. Got kind of the proper supply got added to CoinMarketCap. Personally, Bitcoin private, it's got added to no exchanges. I'm surprised actually, to be honest with you, at how little exchange support and interest that Bitcoin private has had. I think they are getting added to CNBC, or I mean not CNBC, HitBTC at some point in time. I think they're supposed to be getting added to HitBTC, but like let's be honest, that's I mean it's HitBTC. Does anybody here use HitBTC? Tell me, let me know. I mean if you do, I'm all interested in hearing about that. But I mean, number one, I thought Bittrex would have supported them. They didn't support them. I thought maybe there'd be interest from like a KuCoin or Binance or something like that. But there's just really been like no no support whatsoever about that. So I don't know. Security wise, it's not like there's other security coins. There's other coins like privacy coins. There's other privacy coins that I like Monero and Zcash both more than I like Bitcoin private. I've been scaling it to Monero more and more. I have a pretty decent holding of Monero. I still think for like where it's at right now and the utility of it and how many people actually use it for privacy coins or for privacy, I think Monero is super undervalued in comparison to a lot of other things. How do I feel about Neblio? I like other platforms better, to be pretty frank. I think there's a lot of other platform plays that I'm more interested in than Neblio. Appreciate that super chat there, brother. Thoughts on Substratum right now or waiting for a pullback? Obviously not financial advice question. Yeah, never financial advice ever. But Substratum, I am... it's not my cup of tea, I guess. I know there's some other YouTubers and some other people out there that really love Substratum. Like the whole decentralized internet thing, I guess, to me, the whole decentralized internet, I think it's a very grand vision. I don't know if it's something that will come into fruition, so we'll have to see if it is going to or not. But Substratum has performed pretty nicely recently. Another one that's somewhat comparable to Substratum in nature is Skycoin, and Skycoin's done really well too. They're both kind of doing something not totally similar, but similar in nature. Yeah. Thoughts on ELF long term? So I actually sold my ELF like a month or two ago, and that's unfortunate because ELF has been crushing it recently. Somebody said I like Monero, but about regulations, is there still a future for privacy coins? I think that's an interesting discussion. We've talked about that. I know Crypto Bully has talked about that before if you follow him on Twitter. But people have talked about that as like privacy coins being one of the first things that governments might potentially go after because they facilitate basically actual anonymous transactions. I've even heard some people suggest the government might go so far as to go after like Monero miners because you're kind of enabling that. You're enabling that as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out in the long run. 88 tattooed. No, I did not see the last video about EOS. Yeah, there's Jack. So if you guys have been missing it too, Jackson Palmer's been putting out some awesome content recently on being pretty critical in regards to centralization on some, I think it's Are We Decentralized? We'll take a look at this. This will be good. Are we? Hold on. Boom. Okay, perfect. So this is from Jackson Palmer, the founder of Dogecoin YouTube channel. His stuff's solid. Big fan. Got to have a chance to meet him in person. Really solid dude. But so this is just the centralization of specific cryptocurrencies, and you can see here that this is the number that really interests me, and it's the percentage of money supply held by the top 100 accounts. Bitcoin is actually one of the most decentralized. Dash is actually the most decentralized out of the ones mentioned here. But out of the top 100 accounts with Bitcoin, they hold 19%. The crazy thing, if you look at this, is that Ripple has 97% of the monetary supply of Ripple is held by the top 100 accounts. Same can be said pretty heavily about Neo, or about Stellar as well. 95% of Stellar is held by the top 100 accounts, and then on Neo's standpoint, about 70% of 70%. So the centralization there is pretty damn crazy. So that's something to just take into consideration. Maybe that those numbers could certainly get dispersed more and more often, but when you look at some of those things, I think that is pretty incredible. So Sublime Thinker, I'm a fan of Wanchain. I was actually looking for. I mean, if you go back on Twitter, I was actually looking to enter into. I was actually looking to enter into a Wanchain position. I was thinking about it when it was about. I think I was looking for it to fall below 40,000 satoshis. It did not, and it's up significantly on top of that now. So that was about 50% ago, where I was looking at a potential entry point below that. I kind of missed that boat. So I'm not gonna chase that at this point in time, but I am a fan of what the team at Wanchain is doing. I should be seeing them. I think I'll be in Dubai at the World Blockchain Forum as one of the media partners there. So I should hopefully be getting some solid interviews for you guys for some pretty legit projects there. First time I'll ever be in Dubai as well, so I'm excited about that. But there's going to be some good projects there. Wanchain is one of them. So hopefully I'll have some interviews for you and some great content as well. Show you that trip and show you kind of what I'll be doing there. So that should be a good time, and I will try to. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you guys are interested in seeing any content from Wanchain, let me know, and I'll try to prioritize that. If there's anybody else attending the World Blockchain Forum that you'd like to see, I'll definitely go for that as well. Travis, what's up, man? Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. I know you're a proponent of people needing to pay taxes, even though we all wish otherwise. Thoughts on Tax Token as a blockchain-based accounting solution? So I haven't gotten a chance to use Tax Token. I personally just used, let's see here, Tax Token. So I personally just used Bitcoin.tax. That was what I used for my taxes, and then I just did a CSV upload file. Did a CSV upload file. Calculated all my taxes, gave that to my accountant. That was what I used. And Bitcoin.tax is pretty cheap. But I've heard good things about Tax Token. So I've heard a number of like pretty prominent people in the space saying positive things about their platform and how easy it was to use and how well it calculated everything. So that is, yeah, I've heard nothing but good things. I haven't personally utilized it yet though. So if it's something you're interested in, I would definitely give it a shot. Mikey Kessler, what's up, brother? VChain killing it. Let's see, VN. Yeah, I don't know if there's internet up there, but I might do a tour on top of that building. Yeah, I mean, to me, it looks like there are a number of tokens that may have bottomed out. I mean, that certainly remains to be seen, but yeah, like Cardano to me looked like it bottomed out. VeChain looked like it bottomed out. I think a lot of the altcoins, it just looked like they kind of dipped. There was an accumulation phase, and we're now back to a potentially nice run upwards as well. We'll have to see how that pans out, but I'm pretty bullish in the short term on things. Adam mentioned, what are your thoughts on the Zilliqa Blue Zell partnership? Haven't done too much on Blue Zell. I saw a little bit on the Zilliqa Blue Zell partnership, I think, as far as Zilliqa utilizing the, I think, decentralized data storage from Blue Zell. I liked the research that I liked doing the research on Zilliqa. It seemed like an interesting platform. I know there's a lot of people that are pretty positive about it. It was something that is pretty interesting to me as far as how they're approaching scalability, so I'll have to see how that ends up panning out. MJ, I don't know. I mean, if there's going to be who knows if there's going to be a pullback tonight. I'm not making any move. I'm not betting on it. I'm not really cashing out anything at this point in time. I feel pretty confident in how things look right now. So, I mean, could there be a pullback? Yeah, sure, but I'm not betting on that. They'll pull up Bitcoin. Julian mentioned, what are your thoughts on the companies banning crypto ads? Is it to protect against ICO scams or blockchain possibly being their competitor down the road? I think it's probably more on the scam front. I mean, I think some people might say that it's because there's competition down the road and things of that nature, but I think it's more just trying to remove liability from scammy behavior. And this just being kind of a new way for a lot of people to approach that. So I think that's probably more along the lines. But if you want to get maybe on the conspiracy theory end of things, saying that, hey, these companies recognize the threat of decentralization and they want to, stop that threat at any point in time. So Aid Austin talking about Ontology. I don't know how Ontology is doing today. We'll take a look at that. Ontology made a pretty massive run. What we got here? So Ontology is falling off, at least from a Bitcoin standpoint right now, but Ontology made a big run recently. So if there are a lot of other altcoins that are pumping right now, I think it makes a little bit of sense that while everything else is pumping, people are taking that money that they made in Ontology and moving that somewhere else where they're trying to repeat those gains. I mean, if you look at this chart, it's Ontology absolutely murdered it in the past, what was it, 21 days, are up 300%. Like, I think some people are taking that money and seeing, hey, I just made 300%. I'm going to, or whatever percent, 100, 200, 300%, I'm going to redistribute that, move that elsewhere. So I think that it's fairly logical to see something that just went up so significantly while basically everything else was in a pretty established bear market, and now you're seeing maybe a little bit of a resurgence across the board. People are just trying to redistribute that money and those profits that they made. So taking a look at some of these questions. If you have any specific questions, definitely feel free to sound off as much as possible. BCC a good buy right now? Yeah, BitConnect is crushing it. I think I mean, we're talking about something that's down like 99.9% from the all-time highs. You got to go in. It's all in BitConnect. Sam Rosenberg, Bitcoin core team has deviated from Satoshi's white paper. The public needs to know. Well, I mean, you've been shouting it in the comment section for the past like 5 minutes, so I think the public might know. But I mean, whatever. I mean, Satoshi's white paper is Satoshi's white paper. It is what it is. There's different ways of people looking at scalability. Bitcoin is looking at scalability one way. Bitcoin Cash is looking at scalability in the other way. Is one right? Is one wrong? Who knows which one is right or who knows which one is wrong at this point in time? I think it remains to be seen. But Bitcoin Cash still has a very, very small portion of the, still has a small portion of the market share. And I do think that the Bitcoin Cash community does have valid concerns about how Bitcoin is scaling. On the other end of the spectrum, though, haven't been a fan of like the negativity of the negative attacks. It's not my cup of tea. So we'll have to see. But I mean, increasing the block size in the near term is a really easy way to scale. But is that sustainable? Can you just keep doing that and keep doing that as potentially the usage of cryptocurrency grows and grows and grows? I prefer to not, Andrew, as much as possible. Just I don't want to be accused of anything, so I try to stay away from it. Hyperledger and Stellar will conquer the wasteland. So I heard somebody from Hyperledger speaking at the conference I was at in San Francisco this week. Interesting discussion for sure. Hyperledger is pretty interesting technology. There's other platforms out there that are kind of approaching things with that like Hyperledger type of a spin. But Hyperledger is an interesting one. It's something that you really can't invest in, so I don't think it gets the hype that a lot of other things that people can attach a bag to do. But thank you for acknowledging Bitcoin Cash. Not a problem. It exists. I'm not going to say it doesn't. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it exists, and there's valid points to both sides. Will we see WAN chain sub $3 again? Unless there's a continued bear market, I would, unless the bear market or the market just turns, Bitcoin dips, and the rest of the altcoins dip pretty significantly, I would doubt that. But I think WAN is a really strong project, and I think interoperability is going to be strong in the long run. Again, I don't have any. I was kind of holding off and waiting to make a move into it, and just didn't get the chance that I wanted to. Regret that now, but that's life, and that is what it is. Do I think that Ethereum should fork to avoid ASICs? I think that's an interesting question. Monero did that, and now there are 4 Monero forks at this point in time. And I think there's a lot of community discussion in regards to doing that. I don't know. It's a tough question. I mean, it also depends if ETH can move to proof of stake before doing anything else. So that's something you also want to consider is, can ETH move to proof of stake? It was an interesting BitMEX research piece. If you're not familiar with BitMEX research, I would highly recommend you Google that, check it out. BitMEX research, the same as the exchange, they put out some good stuff, and they talked about Ethereum moving to proof of stake in the future and some of the obstacles and the issues that they might face by doing so. So I would love to hear too in the comments what your somebody saying, Ryan saying I love a green day. What was your most successful coin today? I would love to hear what your best investment was today, what coin it was. That'd be pretty interesting to hear what everybody had and what pumped the hardest for them today. Any chance the Bitcoin rise is related to a new big investor, Wall Street, Rockefeller? I think that a lot of people, are trying to attribute that or want to attribute that. And I think everybody loves a good, oh my God, Rockefeller's in or somebody else is in. But I think it's probably just I think it's probably just a short squeeze and the market getting over just some of the negativity recently. And I think it's a variety of factors, but I don't necessarily think it was just one big investor that bought on the open market or something like that. BTCP was my best. Lux, what's up, Lux? Cardano pump, PRL. Jesus Coin crushed it. BitConnect. Substratum. Elf. Team Zilliqa. So nice. Got a lot of interesting ones. And guys, if y'all are watching now too, would love for you to just hit that like button. It helps to get the video out to as many people as possible. That'd be sweet. Yeah, Steam, at least on-chain FX, Steam is the top performer in the past 24 hours. I mean, there's a couple of big names up there. Steam really crushing it though. Steam is not that far off its all-time high in comparison to some of the other ones, but Steam, IOTA doing really well. I'm personally not a huge IOTA guy. Hcash, Cardano having a big day of 23%, OMG 21%, Ripple 21%, VeChain 18%. So I don't know why BitConnect is still on-chain FX. They need to remove that. But yeah, and then just kind of across the board, pretty solid day. What do you think about Encash? I think it's a solid. I read the Encash white paper. I did some diligence on Encash. I think it's it seems like a solid project. I don't really love personally like the use case that much. I think like retail and crypto, I don't necessarily know if it goes, if it kind of goes together. It seemed like it doesn't necessarily need to be decentralized, but I've seen the demo of the technology and the technology works, which is cool. Will it get mass adoption? I don't know. I mean, nothing has really gotten mass adoption yet, so we'll have to see what ends up happening with that. But who knows? Yeah, somebody said Steam. It's interesting because I've posted on Steam in the past, and there are certain points in time where Steam it can be like very successful, and it's just like everything else. It's super concentrated at the top. Like I tweeted something because there was an article, I think it was in Bloomberg, or it was in a large publication where it talked about the issues with Facebook and the issues with Twitter and some of these things about kind of creators moving to something like Steam. But the issue now, I think, with something like a Steemit or some of these other ones is, if you have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, or if you have whatever, then you might only have 2,000 followers on Steemit, and they might not be very engaged. They might not be very involved with what you're trying to do. So if you're a content producer and you're trying to get reach, you're trying to develop an audience, Steemit is really not the place to do so. Maybe if you already have an audience and you can push them over to Steemit, that might be okay. But for the time being, these decentralized platforms and these decentralized solutions don't necessarily have the audience built up. And while, you know, there's a lot of issues, I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, there's not massive issues with something like YouTube or Twitter or Facebook or whatever. They can take huge portions of your of revenue. They can kind of censor content, blah blah blah. They can do whatever they want. Because it's a centralized solution. They own it and they provide you that platform at no cost, essentially. There are still also issues with the level of audience development that these other platforms have as well. And guys, at this point in time, I need to head out and head out for the evening. I will be back tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have a new video for you tomorrow morning, a recorded video podcast up for you tomorrow morning. Appreciate you taking the time to join me this evening. Sorry for the internet connection issue about halfway in between the video. Hopefully it records and streams all right. But thank you guys so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Hope you have a good one. Peace.